Hi everyone, my name's Richard Young, the creator of this cartoon. With artificial intelligence providing the artistic talent, I've been able to put my thoughts and ideas into these political cartoons. And I hope that if you find this interesting, you might subscribe to the channel, like the video, and even share it with some friends. This cartoon casts President Trump as an eager golden retriever puppy, bounding up to the leader of Iran to proudly drop a big stick at his feet. Written on that stick, peace deal. And the Iranian leader, smiling, pats him on the head and says, "That's a good boy." I created this one with some reluctance because it's a criticism of a president I sometimes find myself agreeing with, but I have to call it the way I see it. On June 14th, President Trump announced that the United States and Iran had reached a peace deal, ending nearly 4 months of war. A formal signing is set for Switzerland on the 19th. The agreement stops the fighting, lifts American oil sanctions, removes the U.S. naval blockade, and reopens the Strait of Hormuz. And if your only measure is, are the missiles still flying, I guess that's good news. Nobody wants the war to drag on forever. But here's why I drew the dog. Ask the question that really matters. What did Iran have to give up? Because the fighting stops, the oil flows, the sanctions come off, and the one issue that has poisoned every round of these talks for years, Iran's nuclear program, appears once again to go essentially unaddressed. And that brings me to Iran's track record, because we are not dealing with a partner that keeps its word. Go back to the famous 2015 nuclear deal. Now, to be fair, while that deal was in force, international inspectors did certify that Iran was staying inside its enrichment limits. And Iran's defenders will remind you, correctly, that it was the United States that walked away first in 2018. But here's what that story leaves out. Even at the height of that deal, the international watchdog said plainly that it could never actually confirm Iran had no hidden nuclear material or secret sites. It could not certify the program was peaceful. Iran barred inspectors from its military bases. It was caught with undeclared material from old covert work and was found to have sanitized the site to scrub away the evidence. And the moment that deal collapsed, Iran did not hold its position and wait. It bolted, racing from the agreed 3.5% enrichment all the way up toward 60%, a stone's throw away from weapons grade, piling up roughly 10 times the uranium it had ever been allowed, and blinding the very cameras that were supposed to be watching it. That's a pattern every single time. A deal, a pause, sanctions relief. And then the instant the pressure lifts, the centrifuges spin faster than before. After all these years and all these agreements, Iran today sits closer to a bomb than it was before that first celebrated deal was ever signed. So forgive me if I don't believe this time's any different. And here's the deeper problem the cartoon's really about. There is no honest reason to expect Iran will ever agree to what actually matters. The one thing the United States ultimately has to demand, that Iran fully and verifiably give up the ability to enrich uranium for a weapon, is the one thing Tehran has refused for 20 years and calls it its sacred right. A deal that reopens their oil and lifts their sanctions while quietly leaving that capability intact isn't a concession from Iran, it's the exact trade they have wanted all along. On the other side of the argument, there is the hope that the shooting war is ending, the world's most important oil lane is reopening, and Trump's defenders will say he kept America out of another forever war without a permanent boot on the ground, an imperfect peace that can beat a perfect war, and you should weigh that seriously. But peace is only meaningful if it changes something. A deal that stops today's fighting but leaves your adversary's deadliest ambition fully intact and hands it to a regime that has broken or outrun every nuclear promise it ever made isn't a victory. It's an intermission. And there is a long, sad history of strongmen who learned that the way to handle an impatient American president is to hand him a ribbon to cut, let him take his bow, and wait for him to look the other way. So I'll leave it with you. Given everything Iran has done with every deal that came before this one, is there any honest reason to believe they'll honor this one? Is it possible to be glad the shooting stopped and still be concerned that we've been played? And the hard one, for my fellow conservatives especially, If a Democratic president had brought home this exact deal with this exact adversary, would we be calling it peace or would we be calling it appeasement? Let me know in the comments, and please subscribe, give it a like, and share it with someone who's been watching this war. Until next time, keep thinking for yourself.